one of the things that I love about these calls as well is that we are growing with a group of people that we really, the only thing that we knew coming into this was that we had a desire to have like minds in the sense of living a great story. We had a desire for it. We didn't know if we did. We didn't know who we were going to be speaking to in here. We had a desire to have like minds, and we came into a space where that was a commonality.
Mhm.
And through that, we have become a group of like-minded individuals that are growing based off of very, a small amount of, common things when we first came. And now we're growing and we're encouraging one another, and we're, pushing each other to be better and to change the things that we see in ourselves that we need to change. And we're encouraging each other in that, and we're pushing each other towards adventure and purpose and impact and all these things as we go through it and we process it together. Like we're basically, four people or whoever else is on these calls, a little live a great story computer just processing all of these different things. And I love that about this group. And I think that's the best part. Like, no matter who shows up on these calls, anybody from any background, from anywhere in the world, they show up on these calls and they become a part of this family, of this Live a Great Story processing, of us working to become better individuals, to impact the world around us, to have adventure, not only on the outside, but also within in our communities and beyond, and to change our mindset as a group, which is making it even more powerful, because when we invite more people in, we become a larger entity that keeps pushing, that keeps going. And then, as you know, we all become Jasons that just takes the year 2020 and says, go for it.
Right. If you think about it too, though, think of the growth, like the conversations that we've had, like Jason saying that, something that you said, Joey, made him reflect and kind of change something, or change a mindset or viewpoint perspective for himself. And just think about how just something you said, which did not directly relate to Jason at the time, it was just you expressing yourself, him internalizing that, reflecting on that, processing it and implementing it into his own life, and then creating change. And none of it was in a negative sense. So like there's a change that occurred and a reflection that Jason had where he changed his own behavior for himself on his own, for his own reasons, that created this positive outlook. And like, if only the world as a collective could view life like that and have conversations like that, how grand this world would be, because there can be real change that occurs. You just can't push it onto somebody. You can't force it. It has to be on my own terms and on your terms, each of our terms. And as long as you're open to it, it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I just find that to be like, if that could just be exemplified in a grander scale, this world would be incredible.
Be the change.
Yes.
Not you be the change, like that I want to see in the world, but we individually, we see something, we become what we want to see in the world. We speak that into existence, and not from a place of higher on down on someone, but from peer to peer. This is how I'm changing to better the world around me. This is what I see that could be something that could change the world around us. And you embody that. You embody that truth. And that's how change takes place. Not coming from, a place of legislation, not coming from a place of hate, not coming from a place of talking down on other people, elevating yourself, above all, but coming from a place of love and from an understanding that it needs to take place within myself before anyone will ever hear to change themselves.
Correct.
Right.
We
Amen.
can't change another human being. We can't. It is out of our control. So what can we control? Ourselves. And when we control ourselves, sorry, I'm getting attacked by squirrels. When we control ourselves, that is when the change starts.
Squirrel. Sorry.
Sorry, Joey. I just you like interluded with I'm getting attacked by squirrels and then tried to talk normally. I just couldn't.
You know, it's a very interesting position I find myself in. Currently, I'm sitting under a tin roof with a giant section of plastic, so the sun comes through, and it's a beautiful sunroof. Except for the fact that in times when the trees start to change and the squirrels get pissed off at you for any reason whatsoever, or they're just trying to eat and they drop the food, and you can just picture them up in the trees like, I got this, like Scrat from Ice Age, right? The acorn just falls down, and I hear it above my head multiple times, just like rapid fire, just pow, 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 pow. And it sounds like bombs are dropping, as you might have gotten a sample of.
Yes.
But anyways, be the change. That's the point. And it starts with us before it can be embodied in another person. And it becomes a lot easier to do certain things that, you of course, you want to see the change take place outside of you, if you want to impact an individual. But until it takes place, it's a lot easier to take in when you see it around you and you understand how powerful those things can be.
Right.
So
I think it's really cool because we can see it's really hard, to see our own faults, right? Or our own areas of focus or growth or whatever. But then you can see it in other people, and then even like talking about it and like, us working through things and then people self-analyzing and then us sharing about, Jason this and that and like, this is how but then we see that in ourselves when we like look at other people. And so we can like say, hey, have you thought about this? Like you should pick your, do this different or whatever. And then, but we're actually like talking to ourselves. And so we're like able to make these like really cool, like roundabout adjustments in our own life, like through conversation, and like it helps you see things differently, which I think that's why like we do this, is like when you talk, you listen, you like have to run through it in your brain, like what did they say? What does that mean? How do I think about this? What's my worldview? Like, brrr, and then you respond, and then you like do that process. It creates this like space for growth. I think that's what's been the coolest part.
Yeah.
And it's so encouraging to, again, I mean, I think you had a young lady on a few weeks ago where she said, this is a really safe place, which it is, but it's also so full of encouragement. I mean, both you and Joey are like, Jason, you're completely different about this scenario now. I can see it in you. And like, what a blessing that is for people that are in that safe place with you, to really encourage the continued growth that they're already seeing, right? That's what I got out of today's call, was both of you guys can physically see how differently I approach it now. And that's awesome, because I didn't even know I wanted this change to happen.